What was considered a successful career while growing up, and how has that changed?
A successful career growing up, some sort of profession, doctor, lawyer, engineer, school teachers, something that you learned how to do and you went and did it well. How has that changed? Well, there's just so many different things you can do now, and a lot of people, and I don't mean to, a lot of people want to be YouTube stars or Instagram influencers. And while you're asking some very interesting questions here, and I commend you on that, a lot of people just want to be famous for the sake of being famous, if you know what I mean, so that they can get free stuff, so that they can get more likes and more followers. And I worry that if that's the goal that people are setting up for, who's going to be my doctor when I'm older? Who's going to design and build the buildings? Who's going to do the professional tasks? You know, maybe AI will take over all that and it'll be okay, but I don't know. So it's definitely changed.
Do you think younger generations are less willing to work hard?
No, I don't. I think they're more willing to ask what the value for their time is. So I was told to do my homework and to study and do all this. And I never thought to question, why are we learning this? Why are we doing this? Why do I have to stand here, or why do I have to do that? And I think that younger people can see working in an office for 40 years, like, is that really what I want to be doing? Why should I put the time and effort into doing that? Why should I be doing, this or that? And I think that sort of question's really good for humans, because we're now creating more and more technology which can do a lot of the work that we used to hire people to do. And I feel that that kind of can make some of those jobs unnecessary. And so people should have more time to be human beings as opposed to working all the time. So while I'm sure some people are quote unquote lazy and don't want to do things, I don't think you can say that everyone is doing that. And I think that asking why should I take away from my time, because time's the one thing we never get back. Like, you can make money, lose money, you can buy a house, sell a house, but you can never go back in time. And so saying I have more respect for my time and my future, and I'm not going to do what my parents or my teachers expect me to do without a good reason, I don't think that's the worst thing in the world.
Are younger generations more or less respectful?
Well, respect is an interesting thing. I think, and I've answered, it goes both ways. My grandparents and my parents' generation thought respect was shutting up and listening to what they said without questioning. And as I said, I think that asking questions is not a sign of disrespect. I think I respect my son by answering him when he asks those questions, as opposed to telling him that he should just be obedient, because there's a difference between respect and just blind obedience. I do think that people are a little less respectful in shared spaces. I was sitting over here before and some guy was just playing music loudly on his phone. And it's just kind of like, I didn't want to listen to your music, buddy. Like, but he wasn't respecting that, like, not everyone is involved in what he's doing. And a lot of people with the sort of social media aspect and things seem to think that they're the main character in the world, and they don't realize that everyone's the main character in their own story. And sometimes we need to act more like NPCs than the main characters just to get along. So I think a lot of older generation people may look down on kids and say they're being disrespectful when they're not. But I also think that not everyone's as respectful as what I would say is respect. But respect's a two-way street, and if you give it, you should get it. And so not everyone will agree with me on that, but yeah.
What games do you play?
What games do I play? I play games from about 20 years ago, because that's when I was younger and I really liked them. My favorite game is called Mass Effect, and there was 3 of them: Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3. And they're like a space RPG game, and I play that at least all 3, start to finish, at least once a year. And after that, probably the Fallout series. I like playing all of those ones too.
Which one has the best morals?
The best morals. Mass Effect is actually a really interesting game when it comes to morality, because you're facing the extinction of the universe, and you have to make decisions about how you're going to save the universe and everybody in it from the catastrophic monster that's coming. And sometimes you have to send people to die in order to save more people. And so you have to make those decisions. And sometimes they're your friends that you've, gotten to know in the game and stuff. And it really challenges you in a way that you have to, being a lead is not always easy. And sometimes not everyone can always win in situations, And, Fallout also had a really good morality scale in it as well, You help people, good things can happen. You steal from people, bad things can happen. But sometimes you help someone you think's good and they end up being bad and they've tricked you. And so it's got many layers to it as well. But I think games like that are really good to play, especially for, when I was a teenage boy, it was very good because it offered you a perspective that you may not have gotten from TV and society in general as well. Yeah.
I think society is more open-minded or more divided.
I think we're divided about being open-minded, to be honest. I think that there's a lot more acceptance of people being individuals and a lot less conformity in the world, which I think is good. I was a bit of a weird kid, and I got bullied a bit for that. And I think if I was growing up today, I probably would have been more accepted and not had to conform to what my peers expected of me. I think that social media and the mainstream media as well thrive on disagreement and contention online. If people are arguing in the comments, that drives them up on the algorithm, and then you get more, likes and views, and then more ad revenue comes in. And so I think that a lot of the people who are curating what we watch and listen to in the world are incentivized to provide us with views that are at polar opposites in order to make people disagree. And that really disappoints me. And I get caught by it too. Sometimes I'm angry at something, and then I realize that it's probably not presented balanced to me. So I think people really need to remember that, we're all humans. We've got 2 eyes, 2 lungs, a heart, arms and legs. Like, there's not that much difference between us. And I think on a personal level, people are more accepting. And I think at a higher level, people are feeling more divided when really they should realize that we're all on the same side here. We're all just trying to get by.
Has the meaning of having fun changed between young generations and past generations?
Oh, that's interesting. My sister-in-law, she's only just turned 21. And what she does for fun with her friends is vastly different from what I did when I was her age. We did a lot of drinking, a lot, and, just general misbehaving like that, which I don't think was particularly healthy or good for us. Whereas I think now people are seeking more time, trying to be present with each other as opposed to being intoxicated. But I also think that people are on their phones too much, and that's not just young people. Like, you can see people's grandparents. Like, these devices are pretty addictive, and so people are thinking they're having fun because our brain chemistry enjoys watching stuff, and that's what it's being distilled down to. But I think there's a lot of emptiness when the phone goes away. I've had to turn off all the notifications and delete a lot of the apps off my phone. Otherwise, I wouldn't be sitting here reading a book. I'd just be swiping on Instagram or something. So, where I live in the US, a lot of people go hiking and kayaking and paddleboarding and stuff, and they're getting out in nature more, which I think is a real good thing to see.
Trade places with someone from a younger generation, would you? Why or why not?
No, I wouldn't. And that's not to say that things are bad now. I just know the world that I grew up in, and I don't know the challenges that people your age are facing. I also don't know the opportunities they're facing, but I'm just the kind of person who doesn't really want to look back and second guess the past, I guess. I am where I am. I'm very happy in life. And so why take the risk on trading places with you and, seeing where that goes? And I don't think you should be thinking about trading places with me either.
What's something younger generations have improved that older generations struggled with?
Openness about mental health. Like being okay to say that you're not feeling well or you're not having a problem, and asking to have time to sort that out, and not being like when I was a kid, and this isn't to say girls don't have problems, but like I understand the problems that I faced as a young man and a boy. And, I remember my grandmother saying that I cried too much. And so then I had to resolve not to cry anymore. And just things like that. It was just I don't think that that's a healthy thing to tell a child. I think if the child's crying, there's a reason, and you might want to investigate that as a parent or something. And so, yeah, being open about your mental state, checking in with your mates, and realizing that it's okay to not be okay, and to seek out help in that regard, and not it be this stigmatized thing that a friend of mine, she was told not to go see a psychologist for her depression because her parents told her that she wouldn't get a job if she did that. And that's completely false. And so I think that the way younger people today are open about this stuff can only benefit humans as a whole.
Well, thank you. That's all the questions for the day, and thank you so much for your time.
No worries, mate. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. As always, like, share, comment, subscribe for more amazing content like this. Peace.